back on Soch Tea Talk with a series of an episode with Mr. Virendra, who is a consultant, corporate trainer, and the company director. And for 37 years, he has been there with Tata International Limited as an ex-head of trade services and chief ethics counselor. And it's a great story and a great learning what we are expecting for our Tea Talk audience. Sir, it's a wonderful experience and the journey, and I'm sure it will unfold and reveal many insights for our target audience.
Sure.
Now, in fact, for the journey in the Tata, your learning life.
So before I, sort of proceed further, let me reinforce some of the key thoughts which I shared with you.
Mm-hmm.
One part is about the detailing part,
Correct.
the noting part for references, etc. And I must say that, in the international business environment, my own experience has been that when we interact with customers, suppliers, other stakeholders, how well prepared they are.
Correct.
And that has been a major learning for all of us. In any organization we may work in our country, irrespective of our sectors, your designations, hierarchies, etc. The level of preparedness and the homework which we need to do. Okay. And it has been amazing experiences where I have accompanied my marketing colleagues, business vertical heads, participated and sat in various business meetings. And I used to observe and with the focused manner in which the visitors would do their presentations, for example, the level of preparedness, the meticulousness, the diligence involved. And I think that's a learning for all of us, irrespective of our levels and designations. The homework which needs to be done by us.
Correct.
Number one, because the important thing is that once you're in a business negotiations, okay, and you're, let's say, not well prepared or you're half baked, the other party senses that either you're not serious,
Correct.
or secondly you're taking a very flippant or a casual attitude and approach to the whole process, and that in a way dents the reputation of your organization. And also the other party start evaluating you that you're not a very serious professional. And I think that's the homework which needs to be, we need to burn the midnight oil to ensure, even if it is a small review meeting, maybe you may think it is inconsequential, or it is a serious meeting with a JV partner, a potential customer or a supplier vendor. It is very important that we do a thorough homework in terms of the task entrusted to you as a representative of a company. That's one. The second part is about I mentioned about communication, both the verbal communication, the non-verbal communication, and more importantly the written communication, because at the end of the day you represent your organization.
Correct.
And the third thing which I gave the example of baptism by fire in the true sense, that you're where the action is.
Correct.
Right. And if I may have to digress here, if you look at the Japanese quality process of Kaizen, Kaizen talks about a concept called Gemba, Gemba, which means the place.
Yes.
And the entire thought process of Japanese management system is so very simple and common sense driven. They say that every problem has to be solved not in the boardroom, but where the problem has occurred. So what is the trigger? Where is the epicenter of that problem? And that is the place where so the place could be the shop floor, it could be your supplier vendor's premises, it could be at load port or disport, and so on. And therefore it is very important that we need to be hands-on.
Correct.
The other part which I wanted to emphasize here is that once you are in your own way well versed, you're sort of dipped your fingers and your toe in the water in that sense.
Correct.
You develop your own sense of confidence and your involvement to be thoroughly involved.
Correct.
One. Number two, you can inspire your subordinates over a period of time when you assume a role of a leader or a team leader. Your subordinates, it should rub on them as well that you cannot take their particular task in a very casual or a very light-hearted manner. You need to be thoroughly involved. Number three, you build credibility. That once you are yourself well versed, okay, in terms of data, numbers, facts, okay, in your conversations and so on, you in a way start getting that respect from the counterparties.
Correct.
Because the other party also knows that you are also thoroughly involved, engaged, you're well versed, etc.
Correct.
The other message you're percolating in your own organization is that everybody should be likewise. In that sense, that everybody should do their homework in terms of their data collection, numbers. So therefore, it is not only pure storytelling.
Correct.
It is about you being factual about
Correct.
issues, aspects, numbers, data, information, records, etc.
So all the relevant things
They have to be. So you are therefore well equipped to that extent. You're not carried away by, let's say, some hearsay, for example, or some rumors, or somebody making just some passing reference of I guess, I believe, I think types. Your conversation is
totally focused.
Totally focused in that sense, and it should be ultimately be meaningful in trying to find out solutions to whatever are the issues, problems, etc. you are looking at. And I think that's the major part of your journey which equips you, and that is how you are able to evaluate events, circumstances, etc. to the best of your ability, of course. And that is a major learning, and that learning comes from people who are external professionals, whether they are from your industry or not, whether they belong to your country or not. But that level of professionalism needs to be emulated by us and should be embedded so that you perform your task to the best of your ability.
So what's the best of the practices of theirs, and then you adopt in your own DNA like?
So there is a constant learning,
Correct.
So learning is, as I say, it depends on us. And I always firmly believe that we are always on the learning curve. Even I tell my students as a visiting faculty to some other B schools like Wellinkar, where I'm engaged, I say that look, any of us, whether you or me, we are facilitators in that sense. And therefore the learning is lifetime. So we always need to be on the learning curve for the reason that today we live in a knowledge society. And therefore what you say is the latest or a breakthrough can become redundant and obsolete by the end of the day. And therefore you need to ensure that you are sort of well equipped, and therefore in a way contemporary to things. You are absolutely at the top of your game in that sense.
Good.
And the reason is not far to seek, because there are people who excel in other walks of life, in the corporate world as well. There are best practice companies, people who are global benchmarks, etc. And when we speak of quality processes, which we'll be discussing and share in a while, I guess these are the early steps
which can make a base foundation
which is a must.
Good, great. I think that's what this ttalk platform is all about, where the experts like Mr. Virendra come and share their valuable experience. That's the reason we are saying 37 years of a marathon experience with Tata International, where the is process driven and it's more in a disciplined way. But you need to ensure like how you go ahead with the learning process. You need to make a base fundamental more strong. It's a great insights like where the mentor have share the best practices, and where you capture some of the good insights that make your base foundations more strong. So it's an excellent learning from your experience. I'm sure our target audience will be really get a lot more value addition as well. If you like Mr. Virendra Gupte's insights, and as far as the learning which are concerned, go to www.ttalk.net. Subscribe and like the channel as much as you can. Do catch up with Mr. Virendra in the next episode of ttalk with Soch. And thank you very much. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you very much.